Some love stories end with a wedding, a promise, and a lifetime of happiness. But some love stories end with silence, memories, and a question that never finds an answer. This is the story of a love that was never destroyed by hatred, but by time, circumstances, and the painful sacrifices people make for the ones they truly love. A story about two hearts that found each other when life was at its darkest, but lost each other when they needed each other the most. Before we begin this emotional journey, if you believe in kindness, second chances, and the power of true love, please like this video, share it with someone who believes in meaningful stories, leave a comment with your thoughts, and subscribe to Real Feel Story Hub for more heart-touching stories. Emma had always believed that life gave people exactly what they deserved. She believed that if someone worked hard, stayed honest, and loved deeply, happiness would eventually find its way to them. But life had a different lesson waiting for her. A lesson that would change everything she knew about love, loss, and the sacrifices hidden behind a smile. Emma was a simple young woman living in a small town where everyone knew everyone. She worked at a little bookstore on a quiet street, a place filled with old novels, handwritten notes, and memories left behind by strangers. To others, it was just a shop, but to Emma, it was a place where broken hearts came searching for comfort. She was kind, gentle, and always willing to listen. But behind her warm smile was a loneliness she rarely showed. Years earlier, Emma had lost her parents and was left to build a life on her own. She learned to be strong because there was no one else to depend on. She carried her pain silently, convincing everyone around her that she was fine. Then one rainy evening, everything changed. A young man named Daniel walked into the bookstore. His clothes were wet from the rain, and his eyes carried a sadness that immediately caught Emma's attention. He wasn't looking for a specific book. He was simply looking for a place where he could escape from the world for a while. Daniel was different from anyone Emma had ever met. He was quiet but thoughtful, broken but still hopeful. He had grown up chasing success because he believed money and achievements could fill the empty spaces inside him. But after years of working endlessly, he realized he had gained everything except the one thing he truly wanted, someone who understood him. Slowly, their accidental meetings became a beautiful routine. Daniel started visiting the bookstore more often, sometimes pretending to search for books he never planned to buy. Emma noticed, but she never questioned it. She enjoyed the peaceful moments they shared, the conversations about dreams, fears, and the little things that made life meaningful. For the first time in years, Emma felt like someone truly saw her. Daniel didn't see her past or her struggles. He saw her heart. Their love grew quietly, without grand promises or expensive gifts. It was built on small moments, walking home together under the evening sky, sharing coffee on cold mornings, laughing about things only they understood, and sitting together in comfortable silence. For Emma, Daniel became the family she had lost. For Daniel, Emma became the home he had spent his entire life searching for. But happiness is sometimes the most fragile thing in the world. Just when their future seemed perfect, Daniel received devastating news. His family's company was facing a financial crisis, and everything they had built was falling apart. Daniel was forced to return to the city and take responsibility for saving the family business. The decision broke his heart because it meant leaving Emma behind. He promised her that distance would never change what they had. Emma wanted to believe him. She held on to those promises because they were the only thing keeping her hopeful. Days turned into weeks. Weeks turned into months. At first, Daniel called every day. They talked about their future and dreamed about the life they would create together. But slowly, the calls became shorter. The messages became fewer. The pressure of his responsibilities started changing him. Daniel wasn't falling out of love with Emma. He was drowning under the weight of everything happening around him. Meanwhile, Emma waited. She waited beside her phone. She waited near the bookstore window, hoping one day she would see him walking toward her again. She tried to stay strong, but every unanswered message and every missed call created another small crack in her heart. Then came the news that shattered her world. Emma discovered that Daniel was getting engaged to someone else. She couldn't believe it. The man who once promised her forever was now preparing to build a life with another woman. But the truth was far more painful than she imagined. Daniel had not chosen another woman because he stopped loving Emma. His family had pressured him into the engagement because it was connected to saving their company. He believed sacrificing his own happiness was the only way to protect the people who depended on him. He thought losing Emma would hurt less than watching his family lose everything. But he was wrong. Because losing the person you love is a pain that money cannot fix. When Daniel finally returned to Emma's town, he found her standing outside the bookstore where their story had begun. She looked different. Not because she had changed, but because heartbreak had taken away the hope in her eyes. Daniel wanted to explain everything. He wanted to tell her that every day without her felt empty. He wanted to tell her that his heart still belonged to her. But sometimes love arrives too late. Emma listened to his explanation, but she also understood something painful. Love was not only about feelings. Love was also about choices. And Daniel had made a choice that broke both of them. She told him that she would always care about him, but she could not spend her life waiting for someone who had already decided to leave. Those words stayed with Daniel forever. Years passed. Emma continued working at the bookstore. She learned to smile again, not because she forgot Daniel, but because she accepted that some people are meant to change our lives without staying in them forever. She helped others find hope through the stories she recommended. She became someone who understood broken hearts because she had once carried one herself. Daniel, meanwhile, lived with the consequences of his decision. His family business survived, but the success he fought for never brought him peace. Every achievement felt incomplete because the one person he wanted to share it with was no longer beside him. One day, many years later, Daniel visited the bookstore again. The place looked almost the same. The shelves were still filled with stories, and the quiet atmosphere still felt familiar. But Emma was no longer the same woman waiting for him. She was stronger. Happier. At peace. They spoke for a while, remembering the past. There was sadness, but there was also gratitude. Because even though their love story did not have the ending they dreamed about, it had given them something precious, the knowledge that they were capable of loving deeply. Sometimes, the greatest love stories are not the ones where people stay together forever. Sometimes, they are the ones where two people change each other's lives and carry those memories forever. If this story touched your heart, please support this video by liking, sharing, and subscribing to Real Feel Story Hub. Your support helps us continue bringing emotional stories that remind us about love, sacrifice, and the power of human connection. Before the ending, we have a special request for you. Comment, "True love never dies," if you believe some people remain special in our hearts, even when life takes them in different directions. Because in the end, love is not always measured by how long someone stays. Sometimes, love is measured by how deeply someone changes your life. And some memories, no matter how much time passes, never truly say goodbye.